Hi, I'm Sug.
I'm Dan.
This is the Demystified Zone, an unauthorized North Korean podcast. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thank you, Sug.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more of a statement first.
Yeah,
You have two siblings.
I do.
Relate to the listeners the nature of your relationship. Like, who's the oldest? What are the age ranges here?
I have an older sister, 3 years older. Younger brother, 7 years younger. A little bit of a surprise at the end of the run there.
You know, I didn't know that. 7 years.
7 years younger, yeah.
Okay, so we got a middle child on our hands here.
I am the middle.
But 7's pretty long. So did you feel like a middle? Or
No,
were you like the youngest child?
That's very perceptive of you. No, I felt like more like the youngest.
Yeah, until that guy came along and then he ruined your youngest status.
He ruined my life.
Is he the golden boy now? Who's golden boy?
I don't know, man. The college rankings on that one, the voting is very inconsistent.
Who is getting the lump of the inheritance? Just hang on.
Yeah.
For our listeners out there, in Korea, as in many cultures, the sons are highly favored.
Yeah.
Especially if you're the oldest son.
I am the oldest son.
And you are the oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sucks in this world of like, there's an older eldest daughter, but Korea was a little backwards, just like many other countries in that regard. A little behind the times. But so you being the oldest son, who is golden boy? But the youngest child is always the most spoiled child.
As you know.
As I know, yes. I'm the youngest child.
Of three.
Of three boys.
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I would get the inheritance. Yeah. If it stands today. I would. Tomorrow it might change.
It's yours to lose. Is that what you're telling me?
The
yours
number one ranking, yes, is mine for me to lose.
Okay, so let's say, all right, you are number one spot right now.
Yeah.
Does your sister have like a little resentment towards that? And I understand she might be listening to this, so
yeah,
you can speak freely.
Does she have resentment? No, she doesn't. She really doesn't care.
Okay, but what about your brother? Like, does your brother ever? I mean, we're talking about inheritances, and it's always different. But do you feel this? Like, I
feel like I am the favored son. I do.
Okay, but then do you feel kind of little angst from your siblings? Like, oh, Dan, he thinks he's so awesome.
No. We have my daughter here on set, and she's nodding her head.
We have two special guests here that comprise one engineer. Is two of Dan's children, Stella and Jack. Welcome.
Say hello.
Hello, thank you. Hi.
You're welcome. All right. So, she's nodding. They're both nodding as I say, does Dan, their dad, act like the golden boy? And they're like, yes, 100%. Yeah, again, more nods of affirmation here.
Yeah, what about you?
I don't think I feel the same way. Yeah.
Family dynamic.
I am the youngest of three. I don't think they listen to this, so I'm just going to speak freely here. 3 boys.
Yeah.
I do feel like, well, for sure I was spoiled, and I was constantly reminded of how spoiled I was.
By your brothers.
Yes. But I would argue, as any good younger brother would, I have very good points of argument against them. You guys better watch out for Andy, okay? Because he's coming for you too. All right? The youngest is not here of Dan's spawn. So, no. But I would say I feel like if it were today, my middle brother definitely like, he's like the middle child. He's you. He's just very different from my oldest brother and I. We're very more like wacky. Basically, he's just another version of me. The middle brother is very different from us.
Yes.
So I don't know who is the most favored. We're all favored in different ways. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely spoiled. My oldest brother is definitely like the oldest first son, spoiled in that way. Like my parents there's some different juju going on between them that I don't understand. And
Right.
I will never receive, and I'll always want for the rest of my life.
Okay, so as a parent of 3, just looking at it now for 13 years, it's everything I think evens out at the end, right? Because the first child gets the parents' energy, right? Like you have the most vitality going into your first child.
That's true. You put the most energy into them. Because
But
you've never been a parent before. You've never been a parent, so it's natural.
You're just the physically strongest too. Because by the time the third one rolls around, you are depleted.
They haven't sucked your life and soul out yet.
Yeah. But the last child gets being last, but they also get your wisdom as well. Right?
I would say I got their laziness.
Yeah. That's true too, right?
Yes.
The first child will get the attention, but they'll get the strictness as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's in that argument though, I feel like the middle child really does miss out.
Right, Jack?
They're like Jack's giving us a big thumbs up right now as the middle child. Your dad loves you, buddy. All right.
We're both middles.
Yeah, you guys both are. You guys relate to each other. Anyway, so we're talking about siblings today. I want to talk about a very special sibling in North Korea. His name is Kim Jong Nam. For those of you who do not know, this is the deceased older brother, half brother of the current great leader himself, Kim Jong Un. So we're going to call him KJN. Or
that doesn't flow as well.
KJU, and maybe we'll just call him
Nam.
Yeah, we'll call him the big Nam.
All right.
He's the big Nam because he's the big brother. So I was reading on this man.
Fascinating, huh?
He's the most, how do I put it? How did I feel? He's the most boring, fascinating person I've ever met in my life. Like his story, like you cannot make that up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way he lived his life is so like boring and uneventful. But then, you know what? It's like this. He was either driving 0 miles or he wasn't moving or he was going 1,000 miles per hour. Like there was no in between for him.
Yeah.
He was doing nothing or everything was happening.
It's very complicated, isn't it?
It is. Why don't you give us a quick download, Dan? Give us like the bullet high level life and who is this man? Don't get into the end of his life. We'll get into that, but just give us his like early life. Who is this dude? Where did he come from? What's he all about?
Okay, Kim Jong Nam is the first son of Kim Jong Il, the second ruler of North Korea. He's the first son, maybe born of ill repute from a mistress.
Yep,
that's what is speculated. Heir apparent to the throne as the oldest son. That would be like the first choice.
Wait, is he Jon Snow? Is he like the son that they didn't want?
Yeah. See, that's what's speculated for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what's speculated for sure, that he is illegitimate from a mistress. But we can never know with North Korea, right?
Yeah. We should call him Nam Snow. He's Nam Snow now because I think that's what he is.
So Nam Snow was heir apparent, but then this thing happened. Well, first of all, he was like the artsy one.
Yeah.
But much like his dad. His dad was into film and
right off the tree right there.
Yeah, maybe they were too similar. And his dad made him a film studio to play with as a child. Amazing, right?
Well, being the heir of the,
the emperor
or whatever, the dictator of, you can get a happy birthday, son. Here's a film studio and a whole crew for you too.
Crew, right, exactly. So he was really into film, artistic. So I think that might have been strike one.
That was a strike against him?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Maybe. And then and then he loved Disney. He just loved Disney. And
specifically Disney.
Yeah.
Or was it like Western media and culture?
Well, he loved Disney so much that he snuck out of North Korea with a fake passport and got caught. He was caught under a Chinese passport.
Wait, we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Tell me more about him. Where is he? So he's the oldest brother, at least that we know of in those record. Yeah. What's his relationship like with current leader KJU?
See, that's the crazy thing. For some reason, they kept them totally apart. So it is speculated that they only met when their dad died.
Oh.
So
for the first time.
For the first time.
Whoa. Wait, what's the age difference between those two?
I don't know.
Stella, here's your first job of our engineer today. Google the age difference between Kim Jong Nam and Kim Jong Un.
Alrighty.
Good luck. All right. So while she's looking at, but I mean, obviously we know he's younger. KJU is younger, probably by a fair amount.
Yeah, I'd say at least 10, 15 years.
Yeah. So we're talking about a Dan and Dan's younger brother situation here.
Yeah, sure.
Golden boy, lost golden boy status.
Yeah.
And they're not the only two. Obviously, they have a sister that we've talked about. It's a lot like your family, actually. I'm talking about it. But the sister's not older either. The sister is younger as well. I think she's even younger than KJU, right?
I thought,
I think
there's
she's
a
younger.
sister in the picture.
Yes.
I don't know, where she lies.
To be clear, listeners, the family dynamics of North Korean leaders is not so straightforward.
It's 13 years,
13
Kim Jong
years?
Un was born in 84, speculated. Jong Nam was born in 71.
Okay. Great work, engineer. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella.
So, I forgot what I was going to say, but what was I going to say? Oh, so we have the traditional family setup in North Korea. Dictatorship is not normal to us. Okay, like these guys had multiple mistresses, multiple wives. Some of them were not of like maybe good repute, so they were not acknowledged even as part of the family. So there are probably several children that we don't know about from both Kim Jong Un, Kim Il Sung, all the way up to the top, right?
Yeah, all of these guys have a basically harem. I mean, without getting into too much detail here.
Yeah. So when we talk about Kim Jong Nam or Nam Snow here, he is special because they had identified him as a potential heir early on.
Right. He's the first publicly acknowledged son, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, why did they do that? What was that all like? When did that happen?
Yeah. I don't know what the process is. I don't know what the audition is or whatever, right? It's all family infighting. And I'm sure Kim Jong Un's mom was trying to thwart Kim Jong Nam and his aspirations. So it's all like cloak and dagger, right? Behind the scenes, there's infighting, and for some reason, Kim Jong Nam came into the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But okay, so if you guys want a quick bio on Kim Jong Nam, just look at his Wikipedia page.
It's so fascinating.
It's really condensed.
There's a book.
Have you read those books?
No, I haven't.
That's definitely on my reading list. Okay, like I said, I think I've accurately described him. He's like kind of boring, but he's also super interesting. Yeah. Like it's like boring Jason Bourne to me. He's Jason Bourne without all the secret crime, CIA fighting ability.
Let's call him Jason Bouring.
He's got so many names already. The kids are reeling over there at the dad joke. They're like, "Oh, Dad,
come on,
you're embarrassing yourself." Okay, just highlights here. Okay, so this guy early on identified as the heir to Kim Jong Il, sent out to international school in Russia and Switzerland, which is pretty common, I think, for the dictators to leave the country to get some kind of like
international
schooling.
Right.
They go to Switzerland a lot. I wonder why that is.
It's a neutral country.
Interesting. Switzerland, are you hearing this? Like, you're so neutral. You're educating potential leaders of North Korea. Please insert some non-neutral things into your educational material just a little bit, once in a while. Okay, so then he was identified as the heir in 1998, and then he was also. I'm sorry, he was appointed to like an official ministry position in 1998.
That's right.
And then, so this guy's being groomed, and then this like big incident happens in 2001. It's the Disneyland incident in Tokyo.
Disneyland Tokyo.
Disneyland Tokyo. The guy has princess fever, or animation fever. I don't know what it is. I mean, back then it was definitely, that's like Lion King, right?
Yeah,
around there, Lion King.
That was the incredible tail end of their incredible 90s run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before all like, oh no, maybe 2000s was like, what was coming out? The Pixar stuff was coming out at that time, but that's not Disney.
Yeah.
It wasn't Disney back then. But anyway, the guy had the bug.
He did.
Maybe like Hunchback. I think they were hitting the end of their run. It was like Hunchback and the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right, talk to me. Let's talk about this incident in more detail here. So,
yeah, he was arrested in Narita International Airport, which I've flown through many times.
as have I. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, he got caught with a forged Dominican passport.
Jason Bourne. This is where Jason Bourne comes in.
Using a Chinese alias, Peng Xiong, which means fat bear, which is pretty cute.
It is cute. He is kind of fat bear.
Yeah.
If you guys look at this picture of him, Stella, scroll up to that picture. He reminds me of like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
He could be Jack Black, Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, he's cute.
He looks very gentle. Like
Yeah.
a gentle soul.
He does, right? From all of his pictures, he does look like a pretty gentle soul. He doesn't look menacing.
He doesn't look like
his
he's
brother
from
doesn't
that line.
really look menacing either.
I mean, he's got this guy like looks like, he can smile.
Yeah.
I really never and genuinely smile. Like he's just like laughing.
As I was reading about him, I really got the sense that if I caught him in Macau, I think I could have hung out with him. Like, I think he would have been open to hang out with me, and maybe we could have been friends.
Well, you know what? Okay, so there's more on that. Like he did
Yes.
chill with the common folk.
He did.
And he traveled. It was saying like that he traveled alone a lot.
Yeah.
Without like a security detail.
Crazy.
So anyway, so he goes to Disneyland. It's a big no-no. This guy tries to sneak in with a Dominican passport, Jason Bourne style, gets detained, gets deported to China. And then basically the family is like, oh, you've shamed us now. You
It's back to the shame thing. Huh?
And this is the kind of funny part to me. It's not that he like denounced their family or the Korean government, or he went to Disneyland.
Yeah. You shamed us by going to Disneyland.
Well,
how could you?
Based on what I've been learning on this podcast about Korea, that is the worst shit.
Yeah.
He did the most capitalistic thing you could ever do. Go to Disneyland and give Disney your money. He didn't even get a chance to give them the money, actually, but just the fact that he tried to, that was the big to the family and the government, saying, North Korea, this is what I think of you.
Yeah, could you? Okay, so just trying to get into his mind space, right? Because again, Truman Show comes into mind, right? Like Truman wanted to just see the world, see what's on the outside, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to just explore the great beyond. This guy, he didn't want to do that. He just wanted to go to Disneyland.
Well, okay, I would argue this. He was in Switzerland. He had already been to the world.
That's true. Right.
So he got out.
He must
But after being out, seeing the world, what he risked his life and inheritance for was Disneyland after that.
Yeah.
That's what was worth it to him.
I wonder, what he must have heard from his classmates in Switzerland, right? Like, Man, Disney.
No, he had some
Incredible.
bootleg VHS in his dorm. Like they were watching
Yeah.
Aladdin. They were watching all the
I'm
greats.
sure he
Little
saw
Mermaid,
everything. Yeah.
the original VHS cuts.
Yeah.
They were, binging those at night, and that's why he got the bug.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney will do that too. I love Disney.
That run with Disney was amazing. Little Mermaid.
Have these guys gone to Disney yet?
We've been to land. Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think of Disney?
It was cool, but like I wasn't super into it. Jackie, do you remember Disney?
Yeah. Just okay.
No.
All right. Can you guys relate to this man wanting to like? You understand what he did? He like escaped this country and snuck into Japan to go to Disney. Would you go to that length to get to Disney?
If it was off limits to you.
If it was off limits, no.
She was
spoken from the youth of this generation. Disney,
not
listen
impressed.
up. You've
Yeah.
lost your favor
Mm.
with the children and the youth. Okay, if you're not
Man.
listening
That's
to us,
true.
Disney, please tune in and donate to us, please. All right, so this guy, he does that. So, all right, this guy makes a big blunder by going to Tokyo Disneyland.
Or trying to.
Tries. He did not make it. Mickey Mouse got him at the gate. So they're like, dude, this guy's not Dominican. It's like, Happy Bear or Fat Bear, you ain't Dominican. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Um,
Could you imagine him trying to speak Spanish? Anyway.
we could talk about that for a while. Why would you pick a Dominican passport? Maybe
Yeah, it was maybe.
he has to have. He's the Jason Bourne. He has to have like at least 10 different
Yeah.
countries because it was all fake. In the reports, they said even his I think Chinese passport was fake.
Right.
So none of these are real. So why are you making fake Dominican passports?
He has access to money to get like a good.
That's you know what
Yeah.
that is. That's the cultural bridge. North Korea. Let that be a lesson to you. Okay. To build the cultural bridge, you won't make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we move on. All right. So what happens is this guy, Nam Snow, loses favor with the motherland and his father. He basically loses the inheritance.
Yes. Loses the favor.
Yes. But reportedly it wasn't because of Disneyland. Maybe Disneyland was like
The camel.
Yeah,
Or
the straw.
that broke the camel.
But let's talk about that. Tell me a little bit about like what was going on at the time. So this is like early 2000s. This
Yeah.
guy, I think Crossing Borders was just starting around then, right?
Yeah, early 2000s.
So this would have been like in the headlines when you guys started. What was going on?
So, okay, I'll say what is written, but then I'll tell you my thoughts on that.
All right.
Because, yeah, he said that he was advocating for reform,
Mhm.
right? And, he was advocating for capitalist reform, right? He wanted the country to open up, much like China and Vietnam. Communist governments being more capitalistic. That's what he was pushing for. But yeah, I it's easy for someone to, because later he escaped.
Yeah.
He lived internationally. It kind of sounds to me that he was making himself out to be this hero, the hero of the story. Like, oh, it wasn't because of Disney. It was because I was pushing for reform. I was challenging the system.
Yeah.
I was championing more freedoms for the people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
It's just when I read something like that and someone's own testimony unchecked, right, from the unverified from the outside, I would take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Just by what I've read, I would agree with you because this is the this is the Jason Bouring part of his life. Like this guy has done nothing. Like he's like the poster boy for nepotism in a regime country because he got put into all these like high positions.
Yeah.
But in most of the articles I've read, it seemed like he didn't really do anything. Like it was just a title and the guy spent most of the time playing his Xbox at home or whatever they were playing at the time.
Oh,
Genesis.
shooting craps.
Or shooting or gambling. Yeah, that too.
And they said he was a drunken playboy. Right?
Yes.
So.
And we're not trying to like he looks like a nice dude and we joke and jest, but this man did come from a regime that definitely brutalized a lot of people, and I don't think he lost any of that, or at least I think he enjoyed that aspect in terms of like he enjoyed the benefits of it.
The benefits, yeah.
Because he lived a very luxurious life.
He had his own film studio given to him by his dad.
Yes. And who knows what kind of that's like weird, that's like dolls, but on another level. Like you have he was probably given real people to act for him and do all that. So
crazy.
If you're feeling any sympathy for him, just know the bigger picture. And you can still feel sympathy for him.
I feel sorry for him too, right? I think a mature person could hold both things in their hands. That he was extremely privileged and he took advantage of it, but
Well, okay, and this is why I would definitely feel more sympathy because of how he left this world. So he's no longer with us. Because in 2017 at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia, he was assassinated. By what widely believed to be his brother.
In spectacular fashion.
Oh yeah, this is when it turns into Jason Bourne again. Like his life was gambling in Macau and Malaysia, traveling, running away from his homeland because they didn't like him, and actually, I think there was something about he wrote begging for his life to be spared because I think there was pretty much there were like confirmed reports that like there were people out to get him. But in the midst of this, like he was like gambling, doing his own thing.
But he was also a CIA asset too.
That too.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. So his life turned Jason Bourne real fast. Like he was watching the Disney stuff, the bootleg Disney movies in Malaysia and all over gambling. And then all of a sudden, like things got real fast for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk us through this terrible thing that happened to him in 2017.
So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people saw this on the news and maybe didn't know what to make of it. But yes, he was assassinated in an airport by two random women, and with all, and in North Korea style, he didn't just get knocked off. He got knocked off with VX gas, the thing that they used in what movies?
In The Rock. You guys remember Nick Cage, Sean Connery, The Rock. VX gas.
Yeah, VX gas. So that is a toxic gas, right?
Do you think the movie was like accurate though? I think the movie kind of over exaggerated the effects of the gas. I'm sure the gas is terrible and it will kill you in horrific fashion, but that was a little dramatized.
But
either way, point taken.
Right.
Terrible.
But in the movie,
military grade.
You needed two matching chemicals, chemicals combined to form that gas, right? The missile had two elements, and that was part of the movie too. So
no, you're confusing movies. This one had the little pearl balls, remember?
Oh, yeah.
It was the unstable pearl configuration inside the rocket.
That's right. Okay, so sorry. Anyway,
don't mix up your movie references.
There's two elements. These women each had one of the elements on a handkerchief, and they had to combine it over his face to form this gas. And then he breathed it in, and he eventually died in the hospital. But these women were convinced that they were part of a prank show. This is where it gets crazier, right? North Korea, I don't know where you come up with something like this. Like, they found these two women.
Well, it goes to show, okay, I would just say this. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish the explanation.
Yeah, okay. So they found these two women and said, hey, we're going to pull a prank on this guy. I don't even know if they knew who Kim Jong Nam was or if they were going after him, but this is a prank show. All you have to do is combine these two handkerchiefs together over his face.
Okay, so what else is...
North Korea did it.
This is what I'm, like, when we talk about... North Korea has this weird, optic of like, oh, they're so, backwards. They're from the 1950s.
Yes.
But No, they're not. They know exactly what they are doing. Yes, they're very odd, but they are still very cunning and like they were smart enough to know that reality TV pranks in public spaces are a thing.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And that people would misconstrue it, or at least they could get two volunteers to think, oh, this is real. Like, yeah, let's get this celebrity. They probably thought it was a celebrity. And then they used a Vietnamese woman and a Indonesian woman who probably wouldn't know necessarily what Kim Jong Nam is. Yeah. They probably, and the speculation here is that like there was a North Korean like splinter cell basically in Indonesia that was like hunting Nam Snow, and then they orchestrated this entire thing. So I'm just filling in the blanks here, but they probably approached these two women, like TV execs, and said, "Hey, you want to be part of this show? All you gotta do is this. It's gonna be hilarious. Get this guy." Yeah. Can you? I mean, that's crazy. Like that's really sophisticated and frightening.
Yeah, it's like I think we've said this before, but there are elements of North Korea that are completely backwards, right? Like the medical system is completely backwards. But then for some reason, they're like good at these other crazy things. It's, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it after all these years.
What they put their efforts and talents into, right? It's how do you apply yourselves? Yeah. You guys listening over there, how do you apply yourselves in life?
How do you apply yourself?
And to your point before, what makes it more crazy is the fact that they did it in this dramatic, like this splinter cell could have easily taken this guy out. Like they knew his location, they knew where he was going to be, they knew where he was flying to. They could have just taken him out with a sniper rifle from like a mile away if they wanted to, and get out of the country. But they made it much like the anti-aircraft weapon assassination of like people in their country, like putting on display a show.
Yeah,
they made an example of him.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's. They were playing a chess match, a global chess match, much like Game of Thrones, right? Because China was holding Kim Jong Nam in Macau, I guess not very tightly, as a backup plan. Because Kim Jong Un's health was fading. They weren't sure if he would survive anything. And they just want a backup because they don't want North Korea to implode and the South to take over, right? They wanted to keep the power structure in North Korea alive. So the easiest way to do that is to have an heir apparent to Kim Jong Il as a backup plan, right?
Interesting. So you like China was using Nam Snow as their almost like their into North Korea, like their groomed ambassador for North Korea because he was more friendly to maybe China, open to being.
I don't think they even thought that far ahead. They just wanted stability in North Korea. They didn't want any war to break out on the Korean Peninsula that they might have to get involved in. China's playing chess too.
Yeah.
It's just that North Korea outflanked them this time.
And well, they outflanked everyone because Americans were playing chess. He was a CIA asset. Like basically the CIA was meeting with this guy.
Right, and this was during the Trump administration when Trump was trying to get a read on Kim Jong Un when they were negotiating the nuclear stuff.
Yeah,
so he was a very central figure.
This is how Jason Bouring this guy. Okay, this guy was when they found him. He basically had a duffel bag. I think what was $170,000, something like that, over $100,000 in cash.
Yeah,
on him. He was definitely jumping ship. Like he was out of there.
Yeah.
And like you said, North Korea they were on top of it, which is
so
frightening. very, very frightening.
It's crazy
and sad for this man. Like we said, he seemed like a. What's sad is like yes, he had problems. We all do. He spent a lot of his life just more avoiding. I mean, that's a family. You complain about family problems here. Anyone complaining about their family here?
Yeah.
Think about this guy's family who's literally hunting him around the world.
Yeah.
But it is sad in that we could have had a different North Korea today if he had survived. And
we could have had a Disneyland North Korea.
Maybe, maybe Disney would have been the gateway to North Korea, our culture bridge.
I do think that Kim Jong Nam was chosen, or Kim Jong Un was chosen over Nam because they wanted someone tough. They wanted someone ruthless.
Yeah.
He
matched the profile for sure.
A lot better than Kim Jong Nam did.
But here's what's interesting, and we're seeing that we talked about this briefly, but even Kim Jong Un, right? He made the apology to the country. Like, it's almost like slowly there's like this shift, right? Very slowly in the tiniest of percentages of like the old guard is like leaving.
Yeah, totally.
And modernization, or I don't know if it's progressive, whatever it is, there's a change happening.
Right.
It would have been faster if Nam Snow was there for sure.
That is definitely a possibility. For sure.
But you know what though? We're not going to get into this, but there's the sister now, and now the sister is the next. She could be a couple steps back based on what we've seen from her.
Yeah.
She might even be more ruthless than KJU.
Is that a teaser for a future episode?
Maybe that is a tease. What do you say?
Yes.
Okay. I want to bring Stella back in here for our final questions here. Stella, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Stella, how do you feel? You're the oldest child. You are going to inherit the Chung dynasty inheritance. How do you feel about that? Do you want to grab it with power and gusto, or are you going to run away to Disneyland?
I don't want it.
I don't want your life.
Okay, if we're going to follow old Korean law, Jackie boy, get in here. You are the first son. You are the son, the heir apparent. How do you feel about inheriting this man's fortune and
legacy,
good looks, legacy, everything? Do you want it?
Not really.
Andy, if you're listening out there, it's all you, baby boy. You got this.
Yours.
Yes, the youngest child wins again. The youngest children, we will take over the world.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, listeners, if you'd like to make a real impact in the lives of North Korean refugees, please consider donating. Go to crossingbordersnk.org and click on the donate button in the upper right. It's so easy. Your aging appa can do it by himself without FaceTiming you first thing in the morning for help with his iPhone.